Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through the tackle trading website, showing you around a little bit, let you know what we're doing, where you can find it, when we're doing it, all that jazz. So appreciate you taking some time to hang out with me here. I guess as we dive right into it, no reason to mess around. A couple things I would highlight though, very, very quickly. Each morning, you will find the Huddle podcast. You'll find that little link right here on Tackle Trading. This will take you to the Huddle podcast website. Each market morning, your top 5 stories will be presented on the Huddle podcast, a short, about 10-minute podcast, just to get you the top stories of the day. You can catch that on all of the major podcast providers. You can listen to it directly here on the huddlepodcast.com. Either way works. That's each market morning for the Huddle podcast. And then the Trading Justice podcast. And I'm here in the Trade Center right now on Tackle Trading. And this is where you can find a link to the Trading Justice podcast. It's just tradingjustice.com. Each week, Coach Matt, Tim, and Mark put together the Trading Justice podcast. Always a lot of fun. Going to be a little longer than the 10 minutes, but definitely well worth listening into it. You can catch that on all of the major providers as well as directly here. Very informative, very fun stuff to listen to. There is also a really good monthly newsletter that is put out by Trading Justice. I'm just going to come to the newsletter here. You can find that directly in that newsletter link. Definitely worth reading. A lot of fun ways to share ideas. So that's the Huddle podcast each market morning, and that's about 10 minutes. And then each week, the Trading Justice podcast over on tradingjustice.com. So a couple extra resources I'd like to highlight to our team. When I'm explaining tackle trading, I tend to break it into 3 core areas. The things that you can do on your own, that's going to be some of our tools, our courses, our blogs. Things that you can do with others, that's going to be our schedule, our live shows when we're doing all that stuff. And lastly, our weekend reports where we can share trade ideas with you and kind of give our team our take on the overall market. So we're going to kind of break it down into those 3 core areas this evening as well. Let's kind of start with the first one here, and I'm in the Trade Center right now. When you go directly into the Trade Center, it's kind of a what's up page at Tackle Trading. You'll find our next show, our most recent posts, a watch list that you can use, build for yourself, our most recent tweet, our upcoming schedule, either a replay or a live showing to one of our YouTube shows, where you are on any of the courses that you might be taking, so you can pick right back up where you left off. So just kind of a what's up page. If you want to use this watch list function, you'll just throw your symbol in here. Let's say we want to throw Tesla in there. Now I'm just going to hit that little plus button, and that's going to add Tesla to this watch list. If I decide I'm tired of having Coca-Cola in this watch list, I'll just select them and hit this little minus button. I know you'll be doing most of your charting on your own broker's platform, but it is kind of handy to have just an easy web-based place to have a watch list. At least some of us think so. Beyond that, you're going to find a link to the market Skyline. This is going to bring you to a page that's just got all of the charts for our major stuff, our indexes, the S&P, the Dow, the RUT, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, the major commodities, gold, silver, crude, copper, etc., as well as the sector spider ETFs. Just so these are all very important things to look at as market participants to kind of see where, how things are looking in different components of the market. We probably should be going through these charts one way or another in our daily routine, at least in my personal opinion. Just a one-stop shop here. You can build it out in your own platform as well, but it's nice to have it all in just one location, just to kind of save a bunch of clicking around. You will also find a link to the Finviz heat map here as well. And that's this guy right here. This will just take you to finviz.com, their heat map for the S&P 500. Just a visual. Hey, what did they look like from a visual point of view? A lot of selling in energy, right? I bet if I go look at energy stocks, most of them are going to look pretty rough. Very strong day in semiconductors. I bet if I go look at my semis, I'm going to probably be pretty satisfied, at least if I were bullish on that area. So just an easy way to kind of visually, what did today in the market look like? It is defaulted to a 1 day on the S&P 500. There is some customization that you can do in here. You can look at the week, the quarter, the month, certain fundamental ratios, earnings performance. So there is some customization that you can do in on that Finviz heat map. So again, these are just ways that we can, quickly, easily assess what's going on. What did the market do today? What areas stood out or didn't stand out, depending on how we're looking at things. You'll find a news aggregator in here. And what this is going to do is going to go to several of the major financial websites, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Market Watch, The Times, and just get those headlines one by one right here for us to kind of roll through, see if anything actually is interesting. And oh, hey, maybe I want to click on it and read a little bit again to save you some clicks so you don't have to bounce around a tremendous amount as you're looking for information. You'll find a link to the economic calendar so you can see what's on the docket for today or for the upcoming week. You'll find a link to our market report, which you'll also find up here. We'll talk about here in a little bit. Find a link to the compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, our glossary, our search function, which our search function is also just this little magnifying glass right up here. And it is pretty smart. Odds are if you're looking for something at tackle trading, that can be a very easy and fast way to find it. If you can't find it, don't hesitate to reach out and ask us. We'll be happy to do so for you. But a lot of times it really is that simple. You'll also find a link to our trading journals in here. You'll also notice that if we just go to the Trade Center, and look at the little drop down, there is a link to the trade journals. I always like to come into it this way directly through the Trade Center personally, and maybe that's just a preference thing. I don't think it matters tremendously either way. But if you come into it this way, you will find the video kind of walking you through how to use that journal. Of course, journaling your trades is a critical part of trading, at least in my personal opinion. And I think fundamentally we all agree with that here at Tackle Trading. Every trade that we make is data if we let it be. Right? If I take 20 breakouts and I trade them all the same and my risk is the same, I can really get a feel for, hey, how is this really working out? I probably had some good winners, probably had some losers. What did it really look like? What do I need to fix? Maybe I was too quick to move my stop loss or too slow to take profits. It's really personalized information so I can make myself better. Very important part of the process for sure. This video will take you through that. It's going to do most of the heavy lifting. Effectively, you just need to tell it what you did and when you did it. Hey, dear journal, today I bought XYZ at such and such price and such shares. And then, eventually I closed out of the position. It'll track the rest, your profit loss, how long you were in the trade, give you really important information, such as what does your average winning trade make you? How much does your average losing trade cost you? What's your total win-loss percentage? Big one, what's, the bottom line, right? Are your gross profits bigger than your gross losses? How long you're in your trade? So very, very helpful tool for sure. If you come into it this way, just scroll down a little bit and you will see the trade journal. That's going to be the one that's selected and you can download it right in here. We also have our theta research journal, which allows us to build and compare different cash flow strategies fairly. And so whether it's covered calls or credit spreads or naked puts or what have you, it allows us to build those and kind of compare them apples to apples. The portfolio journal is to help us keep organized, right? If we just have 2 trades going on right now, it's probably not that hard to stay on top of it, but we might have 27 trades that we've built over the last 7 months that maybe it's a little more difficult. Let us know exactly where we are in any of these. Just select the one that you want, scroll down, and your download will be right there for you. So again, that is our trade journals. In the Trade Center, in addition to what we just discussed, you'll find a link to our events calendar, which we'll circle back to before we're done. Another link to that trading glossary, as well as a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook. The Tackle Trading Playbook is where you will find all of our strategies and what our rules for those strategies are. We break our strategies into 3 core areas: Delta, Theta, and Vega, based on the option Greeks. Delta or directional, right? So when you buy stock, that's a Delta trade. When you buy a call option, that's a Delta trade. When you do a bull call spread, that's a Delta trade. So these are movement-based trades. Hey, I expect this stock to go from 37 to 42. How can I take advantage of that comfortably and responsibly? Then you have the theta side. That's our cash flow or our time component. Great thing about options is we get to sell them if we want to go that route, and many of us do. That's going to be selling naked puts to get into positions. That's going to be selling covered calls against shares that we own. That's going to be selling credit spreads. Hey, I expect this to stay above such and such price over this time window. in any case, we're selling those options, we're bringing in that premium, and we're taking advantage of the one guaranteed constant, and that's the passage of time. And then you have the Vega or the volatility playbook. This is going to be our volatility or bidirectional plays that are based off of expected volatility. So we're not too far away from earnings season. I would be willing to wager, if you're paying attention, somewhere 3 or 4 weeks from now, you're going to see some stocks making some pretty crazy moves as they exceed or fail to meet expectations for their earnings. So maybe I'm looking at a stock. I don't have obviously any idea if it's going to have a good or a bad earnings report. It's completely, a guess on my part, but I might believe based on the stock's history that it is going to move a lot. And I want to build a trade that's going to reflect big movement one way or the other. I don't care which way it moves. I just care that it moves fairly substantially, or the other side of it, right? Maybe the market thinks it's going to move a lot, and I look at it and say, well, what in the world are you guys thinking? And I want to kind of play the other side, if you will. So that's going to be our Vega or volatility playbook. In each one of these, you'll find a video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose the strategy, what our rules for the strategy are, how much time are we buying or selling, what's our delta rule, etc. You'll find an example put if you're using the Thinkorswim platform. If you need some help on the order entry side, we will be using that as our examples in there. You will also have a little downloadable PDF cheat sheet that's got the rules, easy access to the rules for you. So what am I supposed to buy? It can get a little confusing, especially if you're newer to options. What's my delta rule? What's my theta rule? All right, on this stuff, it can be a little confusing. So the PDF download is just a quick, easy way to get those rules. You'll also notice everything's going to have something between a 0 and a plus or a -3, and that's just kind of where we see the strategy on the 0 being neutral, 3 being very bullish, -3 being very bearish, kind of on that spectrum. So if I really think company, ABC is going to the moon, I might want to do a more aggressive strategy like a +2 or a +3, right? If I think it's going to have a slow grind, but just keep on keeping on, maybe I want to find something that's closer to a +1 type of a strategy, right? We always want to match the strategy to our view of the situation. We're not always going to be right, of course, but we want to match those two things up. So that's what this is kind of letting you know where we see this strategy along those lines. I kind of think about it as 0 is flat neutral, plus or -1 is slightly bullish or bearish, 2 or -2 is bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 is very bullish or very bearish. That's kind of the way that I tend to break it down, at least. So that's going to be, again, in the Trade Center here, that Tackle Trading Playbook. Beyond the Trade Center, we do have several courses available to our pro members. That would include the 7-step guide to trading, which will kind of take you through the tackle trading way, from starting at the top of the market to choosing our strategies, finding and prepping our trades, journaling the trades. I mean, as you can imagine, no two traders are the same, but I think those of us at Tackle Trading, we do kind of share a fundamental belief in an approach to the market. And we all, have our little things that we like and don't like, right? That's very, very normal. But the 7-step guide to trading should give you a really good idea of kind of how we collectively approach the markets and building out our trading systems here. If you're a newer trader in particular, it'll probably be really helpful in getting you organized, get you a little bit of routine going. Even if you're a veteran trader, if you're a veteran trader, how important your trading routine is. Maybe you can get a couple of things in there that can make yours just a little more efficient as well. You'll find an introduction into technical analysis. As traders, whatever we're trading, you like trading cash flow strategies? Sweet. Technical analysis is still important to you. Are you day trading futures? I bet you're doing a lot of technical analysis. Are you kind of a textbook swing trader? You're using technical analysis. So no matter who you are, no matter what you're trading, what time frames, what strategies you like, you are going to be using technical analysis. And the better we are at that, I think the better everything else is going to be. So a very in-depth course on getting going and getting a better understanding of those charts. Our Options 101 course is going to really focus on what's going on with that option, right? When you buy that call, what are the factors that are moving it, right? It's not like a stock. If you buy a stock for $20, doesn't matter when you sell it for more than $20, you made $1, right? Whether it's a minute from now, a day from now, a year from now. Options, there's a lot of other factors that we do need to understand as we dive into those different strategies. So we're really going to talk about that side of the options world, so you have a better understanding of what to look for in an option, as far as and what to expect, how these different factors are going to impact that contract. If you've ever been interested in learning more about trading in the futures or the forex markets, but never quite sure exactly where to start, those markets in some ways they're very, very similar to the stock market, and anything else you might have traded in the past. In other ways, there are definitely some things we need to know about those. They're highly leveraged markets. We need to understand what that looks like. They've got their own things that they watch out for. So if you've ever had an interest in learning about either or both of those markets, can be a great place to start in either the futures or the Forex 101 course. Once again, regardless of what you're trading, it's very important to have clearly defined rules and systems in place to govern our actions, right? And I think at face value, everyone agrees with that. But it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. Some people naturally think in terms of system builders, but a lot of people don't, when it comes to trading at least. So this course is really designed to train you to think about trading from a systems perspective. Everything, very systematic. I think it's like a light switch. I think it really is. Once you start thinking that way, I think you'll just keep thinking that way, which I believe is good. I couldn't recommend this one enough. No matter where you are and what you like to trade, would definitely make time for that system development course. You'll also notice a handful of our premium systems down here. These are not included in your pro membership at Tackle Trading. They're one-time purchases. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a mastermind group. Just to quickly let you know what they are, the Tackle 25 is a covered call list that we put together each year with the intention of selling covered calls against those stocks. We put together at the beginning of every year, I guess. We always launch at the beginning of January, the new edition. The STEP system is our swing trading systems, standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. The cash flow condors is another cash flow system on the Russell 2000. And the bear market survival guide is protecting our long-term portfolio while the market's doing fine, and then taking advantage of it when it is in bearish market conditions. If you want a little more information on any of these, feel free to head over to the store, send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. We'll be happy to get you some more information on those premium systems if you would like it. In addition to the courses, not everything needs to be a 2-hour, 3-hour webinar, right? We do blog content every week, whether it's more charting with Tales of Technician, more on options in the Option Theory blog, hearing from our awesome female traders in the Women in Trading blog, working with Coach Greg and taking concepts kind of from the ground up over in the Rookie Corner. Just another way to share ideas and things like that with the team. These are going to be short reads, probably depending on you, but probably 5 or so minutes. Again, you might be fast reader or a slow reader, but not particularly time consuming, but another great way that we can share ideas with members of our team. Our clubhouse is kind of our own personal social media. It's where, members of our team can get in, ask questions, bounce ideas around with one another, ask for help, share their experiences. It's just us. It's just trading. I certainly invite you to join us over at the clubhouse. You are more than welcome to join us over there. So that'll kind of take care of that first phase of the things that you can kind of do on your own. Hopefully that gave you an idea of where you can find that stuff. Now let's kind of move into the second phase, which is things that you can do with others. We are just now launching this week, as a matter of fact, our trading labs. Coach Emily, Coach Tyler, and Coach Mark are all offering a trading lab where they get together each week with members of their team. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I have no doubt the first one is actually going on this evening with Coach Emily. If you would like some more information on those trading labs, again, you can hit up the store. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together in our Traders Lounge. So if the market is open, so is our lounge at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll get together for an hour with members of the team. Every member of our team is invited, and it is designed very specifically to answer your questions, whatever those questions might be. Maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy. It would be helpful to go from start to the beginning to the very end, right? Maybe you've got a trade and you want to bounce management ideas around with it. Maybe you've got a technical pattern that you think's an interesting chart setup that you want to share and get some other eyeballs on. Maybe you're struggling with your daily routine or your portfolio design or your systems. I mean, who knows? We all have questions sometimes, and we need to have a place to answer them. And that's exactly what that Traders Lounge is for. It really is for members of our team, and we will go where you ask us to go each and every market morning. This is the one show that we are not going to regularly record because, quite frankly, no one's going to go and watch one from 2 years ago, right? But we will record snippets fairly regularly for it and get them posted in here. If your schedule is such that you're at work, Monday through Friday, 11 Eastern, but you need some help and you have some questions, just send us an email, team@tackletrading.com. Let us know the situation. It's not a huge deal for us to tackle that topic for you, record it, and get it posted in here. We're always going to do our best to accommodate our team members. So if that is you, don't hesitate to reach out. Just let us know. But you're always welcome in that Traders Lounge, whether you just want to ask questions, listen, get ideas, hang out with other traders, all of the above. Very, very fun experience, I think. Shortly after that, that'll go for an hour. Shortly after that, at 12:30 Eastern, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel where we do our tackle trading halftime report. You may have seen it a time or two, but in the tackle trading halftime report, we're going to work through the markets, right? One step at a time. Take that top down approach that's so fundamental to our belief system here at Tackle Trading. Hey, what's going on in the market today? How it is impacting our charts, stocks in the news, different components of the market. What about crude? What about gold? What about that NASDAQ breakout, etc. Just to go through that daily routine every day, live on YouTube, 12:30 Eastern time. Of course, being on YouTube, once the stream's over, it will automatically post to our channel. So every market day, whether it's over here at Tackle Trading in our lounge or over on our YouTube channel for the halftime report, we will be working the markets and answering our team's questions. If those things aren't going, it probably means the tech monster got us, which thankfully very rarely happens. So that's our daily schedule. And then our evening schedule, I kind of think about it as, the lounge is for our team to ask their questions. The halftime report is for that daily routine, and their evening stuff is where we can do a lot of the teaching side of the coin. On Monday nights, of course, I do this onboarding webinar, just walking through anybody new to tackle trading or somebody, checking us out for the first time, trying to figure out what we're all about. Do that on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do what I would probably consider our flagship show, and that is the Coaches Show. The Coaches Show is live at 8:30 Eastern. It is archived, recorded and archived. So you can catch it at a more convenient time if that's, or revisit it or revisit a previous episode. You can go back. We've been doing it a long time. There's lots that you can listen to if that's what you want to do, and certainly wouldn't be a bad use of your time. We're on Tuesday night. We're a couple days into the market, so we can do a quick market skyline. Hey, what's standing out? Is anything really shaping up one way or another? We've seen a particular industry or sector breaking out or in a great technical pattern. So we can do a market skyline, and then we can take one of the many, many concepts that are involved in trading, right? From, strategy to management to pattern. There's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to trading, and we can take one of those concepts and have a really in-depth conversation on that subject. That's what I have always really liked about the Coaches Show is we can kind of, hey, what's going on in the market right now? Let's take that and apply it right now. And so that is every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for the Coaches Show. I would definitely encourage you to make time for that, either live, which we'd of course love to have you live, but we get it. Schedules are schedules for a reason. And if it's more convenient to catch it later in the week, that is certainly understandable. On Thursday nights, we do our Cash Flow Club, once again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That one is going to be much more narrowly focused, very specifically, as the name would probably suggest, on those cash flow option strategies, on those credit spreads and covered calls and condors and naked puts and so on. Building and managing those trades. I think as a whole, everybody's different, but I think as a whole, most of us here at Tackle Trading do believe in cash flowing, at least as part of their trading plan. And that Cash Flow Club allows us to really focus exclusively on that side of the trading world. Just like the Coaches Show, it is recorded and archived. You can always catch any previous episodes that you want to do. We have a women in trading mastermind group once a month, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to hop over into the Trade Center into this event's calendar. Coach Emily and the awesome female traders of tackle trading will get together once a month in their women in trading mastermind group. Just had one this past week, and so I would imagine there will be one here towards the end of July. Although I don't get to go, as you can imagine, but that is okay. They'll get together, talk trading, talk live, talk things about, hey, I'm a dude in trading. I don't know what what the other side is going through, but it's nice, I think, to have a place where they can get together. I'm sure they're having a lot of fun in there. I'm sure they're getting a lot of good work done in there. So if you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman who's interested in trading, I would definitely be on the lookout for that women in trading mastermind group. We'll be sure to promote it ahead of time so you do know when it is, but it does tend to be towards the end of the month from kind of what it seems on the outside looking in. You will also find our Mind of a Trader, and we do two different Mind of a Trader, so it's easiest to see this one in here on the events calendar. It's also easier to get into it in the events calendar. On Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern time, an hour before the market closes, Coach Mark does his Mind of a Trader at the closing bell, where he will present his commodity report live. He does the commodity report for us each week, as well as just bounce ideas around, with members of the team, answer our team's questions, just another way that we can interact and help our team out, and still some trade ideas. I've still some pretty good trade ideas out of that Friday meeting a time or two. So that's every Friday. Well, almost every Friday, minus the holidays, the last trading day of the week, right? So usually Friday at 3 Eastern. And then on, again, most Sunday nights, it'll be Monday this upcoming because of the 3-day holiday weekend that we'll be having. He does his, but typical is going to be Sunday night at 8:30 Eastern, his weekend prep class. We're a few hours into the futures open now. Based on that open, anything that we need to know that's standing out one way or another. Again, maybe you can never get in and ask questions live to all the shows that are going on during the week, but maybe you can on Sunday night. We can answer your questions in there. Again, just another way that we can connect with our team members. If you're getting into either of those shows, or really quite honestly, just about anything, I would say, I think the easiest way to do it is come into this events calendar, click on the show you want, you'll get the link and everything, and it's just a click away to get you up and running. So that's what he does on Friday at 3 and Sunday at 8:30 Eastern time. On Wednesdays, we do a couple webinars. Here on YouTube at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar, where a couple of us coaches will get together with some trade ideas. Coach Mark will moderate it or host it for us. We'll present 5 trade ideas each, and after all of those have been presented, Coach Mark will pick a winner. It's kind of how it goes. But what it really is, it allows us to, as traders, it's really nice to be able to sit down and talk through your ideas with other people. Maybe you're missing something, or maybe you just would have looked at that chart. You would have been, yeah, I really like that one, right? So just another way that we can hang out with members of our team and share some trade ideas. It's the middle of the week. Usually a lot of things from our weekend watch list have either, hit their entries already. The patterns have changed, right? Some of those watch list candidates probably aren't watch list candidates anymore. So it's always fun and nice to be able to get a few trade ideas for the second half of the trading week. So that's on YouTube, our YouTube channel here live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then shortly after at 8:30 Eastern, we're going to head back over to Tackle Trading for our Traders Lounge Labs edition, where we'll answer any questions that any of our team members had on any of the trade ideas that we brought together in that Trade Masters webinar, as well as any other questions that you may have. So just another place where we can talk trading and answer our team members' questions. That's at 8:30 Eastern time on Wednesday night. So that is kind of the schedule. We are pretty regimented around here, barring some holidays that mess the market schedule up. We aren't going to change too dramatically. I don't imagine But every morning at 11, the lounge, or every market morning, I should say, 11 for the lounge, 12:30 for the halftime report, and then our evening schedule. A lot of things are going on at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, but as we kind of discussed, there are a few things that are going to be out of that, quote unquote norm as well. So that is going to be the schedule. If you're ever feeling a little bit lost or anything, the events calendar is a great place to go. It should help out at least a little bit. So that is the schedule. Uh, and now we'll kind of shift into that third part of the market, and that's our weekend reports. On Fridays, we all get together as a team of coaches here at Tackle Trading in what we call our scouting report meeting. And in that meeting, we talk, how we're individually seeing the market, how we individually are seeing the different sectors, the different commodities, the different currencies, trade setups that we're watching or that we found through our scanning going into the upcoming week. And out of that meeting comes our weekend reports that we'll get to you by Saturday afternoon. So you have plenty of time to go through them. That would include our tackle newsletter, our stock, options, commodity, and Forex reports. Our tackle newsletter is kind of, step one of the 7-step guide to trading, starting at the top of the market. We do believe in that as a core part of trading is, you trade into the strength if you're a bull, and into the weakness if you're a bear, right? You go with the flow. You can't make the flow happen. So here in the newsletter, we'll give you, hey, what's going on in the market right now? What's the, what was the haps? What was the big stuff that was moving up this past week? What's its temperature? What's on its mind, right? That type of stuff. What does the economic calendar look like for the upcoming week? Anything we might need to keep an eye open for? Of course, we'll have a video kind of talking you through this stuff here. As you can see, the technicals for the S&P 500 and kind of how we're seeing it, the NASDAQ, the Russell. You'll find the index ETFs, DIA for the Dow Jones, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM for the Russell 2000, and SPY for the S&P 500. You'll find Coach Gino's Arkham high-low indicator in here that's going to look at the internals of the market. It looks at over 8,000 stocks to see, what does the internal sentiment look like? Are we seeing stocks, doing, when we look at 8,000 stocks, we're getting a much clearer picture of the overall, relative strength or weakness of the market, because things like the, S&P 500, for example, is just so heavily weighted to the top. And that's not inherently a bad thing. It's just what it is, right? The S&P 500 is just very, very top heavy. Sometimes it doesn't tell you the whole story. So that's what the Arkham high-low indicator is designed to do. You'll find the seasonality in here. What does the market tend to do this time of year? The market in the summertime tends to be fairly choppy from a historical perspective. That might be part of the sell in May and go away statement that you hear from time to time, where, from a historical context, you see a lot of back and forth movement, but you don't make tremendous gains. Now, will that happen again this summer? I don't know that, but I do know that the market does tend to be pretty choppy and back and forthy, during the summertime. And I do take that into account as I'm trading. Just like in, the fourth quarter tends to be a great quarter for the bulls, at least. Which I think, most traders usually are. We go with the trends, right? And so we don't want to overvalue this information by any means, but I do think it can help us as traders if we understand how the market tends to perform during whatever time of the year that we are in. You'll find the upcoming earnings calendar, which we're kind of in that lull, calm before the storm. That'll start populating real quick. So you'll find the, sectors. Hey, what sectors tend to perform the strongest, during this month? Similar to kind of the seasonality chart, but on more of a sector level. You'll find our rankings for the sectors. Each week, we're going to rank the sectors based off of the stocks that are in those sector spider ETFs. And if you're not familiar with the sector spiders, they're down here. You can find the full list right here. Or you can go to their website. It's just www.sector, the word sector, then spdr.com. The sector spider ETFs, what they do is they'll go into the S&P 500 and they'll pull out just the stocks in that area. So XLE, for example, is the energy sector. So we go into the S&P 500, pull out just the energy stocks. We put those stocks into a portfolio, and that's what we're looking at here. It's going to be weighted like the S&P 500 is, and there's definitely some things to know about that. But it kind of gives us a look. Hey, what tale of two things today, right? Energy, pretty rough day at the office. Communications, pretty good day at the office, right? Technology, pretty good day at the office. So these sector spiders are very handy tools. They are ETFs, and these particular ETFs are optionable, so you can trade them through shares or options if that's what you want to do. Kind of coming back to our rankings, we're going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up those ETFs. So we're going to go through all of those stocks to get a better idea of how things are looking within each of those sectors. We're going to move them up or down based off of what we're seeing. We can kind of talk you through the thought process. Of course, in the video, it's kind of like a story, right? It's kind of like a story that the market tends to be. Visually, you can kind of see it's a football field here. So, between the 40s is neutral, 40 to the 20, slightly bullish, slightly bearish. 20 are in the red zone, to 20 to the goal line is going to be bullish or bearish. Very, very rarely are we going to actually put an entire sector or an entire market in such an aggressive ±3 ranking. It is very unlikely that you'll see it. You never say never, but it really is not who we are. That's just it's not uncommon at all to put a stock at ±3. Oh, I really like this, or oh wow, this is really, really ugly. But it is fairly uncommon, I think, to put an entire area of the market that aggressive. And I think we collectively do agree with that statement here at Tackle Trading. But we'll be doing that every week, so they will be moving along. And again, we can kind of talk you through the whys and all of that in that video. There's going to be a little bit of information on that market cap and the weightings that are involved with those sector ETFs that I brought up a little bit earlier, which is important to know. Another friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation. There's also going to be a pre-built scanner in here. So if any particular area has caught your attention and you want to take a closer look very quickly and easily, say tech caught your attention here, it's going to bring you to a Finviz pre-built scan. This is a free Finviz. Unless you're a subscriber to Finviz, you will have to deal with a few ads like I do, but that's okay. It's free. At least for me, it is. What we'll do is we'll have a list of trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean when I say that is they've got great liquidity, so it's very easy to get in and out of any stock trades that you're going to do on them. They are optionable. That doesn't necessarily mean their options are good or comfortable to trade. You'll learn, if you don't know how to, to check that, you'll learn about that in the Options 101 course. But they are optionable. So one way or another, whether it's through shares or through options, I'm going to be able to build a trade on something I find in here if it catches my attention enough to do it. As you can see, it's just going to give us a little side-by-side chart. So I can kind of do a quick scroll, see if anything kind of stands out to me. And if it's worth, taking a closer look. Obviously, I don't think we could make a trade off of these little tiny charts. I sure as heck wouldn't want to try, but we can kind of scroll through, see if anything kind of stands out, is catching your attention. And if it is, you say, okay, well, let's go take a closer look here. So we'll click on VeriSign here. Now we can take a closer look. Again, I don't think we could make a trade off of this guy, but I can say, yeah, or look better from afar. That'll happen too. I'm just going to go back to screener. That'll take me back to that screener. Be a few pages that I can work through. Maybe I won't find anything I like. Maybe I will, though. So we've got that for all of the different sectors. Just an easy, fast way to kind of do a quick browse through the stocks in any area that might have caught your attention for one reason or another. So that is the Tackle newsletter. I will always recommend starting here. I do believe that you start at the top of the market, and that's exactly what we're doing in here. So I will always say that this is where you should start. But again, that is my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Then you're going to find the different reports in the stock, options, commodity, or forex markets. Coach Cody does the forex report for us. He does a great job highlighting the setups and the major pairs, what to watch out for in the upcoming week. He does a lot of teaching. He's helped a lot of our team members go from never trading forex to trading forex. So there's a lot of teaching that goes on in Coach Cody's forex report. I honestly believe if all you did was spend the 20 minutes a week listening or so thereabouts to the forex report every week for the next 3 or 4 months, you'd learn a heck of a lot about the currency market. Even if you didn't do anything else beyond that, it's definitely worth checking out. As I mentioned earlier, Coach Mark does present his commodity report live in his Friday Mind of a Trader, but you'll find that in here as well. He's going to talk about, the fundamentals, the technicals, and the sentiment of what's going on in the commodities market. Definitely a little different market than the stock market. Even if you're not trading over in the futures market, there's a lot of great things that we can do through the equity market to take advantage of trends and opportunities that are going on in the world of commodities, whether it's, ETFs like GLD, that tracks gold, whether it's, stocks that kind of act like proxies, like FCX, kind of acts as a proxy to copper, whether it's, hey, gold's really shaping up. Let's look for some gold miners. So there's a lot of things that we can do through stock and options to take advantage of movement in commodities. So even if you're not interested or ready to trade in the futures market where the commodities are traded, don't write it off. Definitely some great opportunities, some really good cash flowing opportunities a lot of the time over in the world of commodities. So definitely worth listening to Coach Mark's take on that. Our stock and option report are going to be built very, very similar to one another. Obviously, one's going to lean more towards stock trades, one towards option trades, right? But as far as how we're building them, we're building a list of stocks, candidates, technically based each week. We'll have both a bullish and a bearish watch list. So our team members have some trade ideas coming in to the upcoming week. It'll always be based on the technicals, and that's true for the stock and the options report. In the stock report, we're really focusing on pretty much just on that, right? Because we're looking at these from trading them with stock. It doesn't mean you couldn't, at least potentially, trade them with options, but they might be in the stock report simply because their option liquidity is poor. And it's a really good trade setup. We really want to keep it in the watch list, but it's just not going to be an easy thing to work with options. That's okay. We can trade through shares of the stock, right? That might not be the reason it's here, but a lot of times that is, especially if you see an expensive stock. Usually that is the case. If it's a high dollar stock, usually it's because it's kind of a pain in the neck to trade its options for one reason or another. Typically liquidity and bid ask spread. But there, can always go check, right? No harm, no foul. If you like the options, great. If you don't be surprised, right? That's okay. Whereas the option report, everything, we are comfortable with the options and liquidity and would all be comfortable trading, option strategies in there. In the video, we can kind of talk you through the ideas, kind of why these things are here and things like that. We're going to talk a little more technical in the stock report and a little bit more about strategy selection in the option report, right? This is a really interesting breakout. Might be a good opportunity for a bull call or a bull, a bull put or a long call. Or so we'll talk a lot about strategy, and a little less about the technicals. Don't let that trick you. The technicals are just as important for option trades as stock trades, but just from kind of how we're going to talk about things. Of course, that's how it's going to go, right? And in the video, we can kind of talk you through the ideas and kind of what we're thinking about this. We always want our members of our team to have some actionable ideas each week. And we're going to go through the market to find them. If you don't like some of them, that's okay. No big deal. Don't feel bad about hurting my feelings at all. It's not about what you don't like. It's, of course, about what you do like. So you might trade some of them. You might trade all of them. You might trade none of them. That is, of course, up to you. But we'll always make sure that we highlight some trade ideas for our team in these areas. This widget that's built in, just a couple of quick tidbits on it. I was looking at Plug a little bit earlier on a breakout here, so I'll use them as an example. If you want to hide your watch list and get a little more chart, just smack this widget button and that'll hide that for you. Smack it again, it'll bring it back. So you can get a little bit more chart. If you want to add any indicators, there is this indicator button up here. These indicators are not going to save. So if you add, so I just added the ATR here. If I leave this page and come back, this ATR will be gone. So just keep in mind, if you're adding a whole bunch of indicators, that's fine. But do be aware that when you leave and come back, they will leave with you, but not come back with you. So if you need to make your indicator, either bigger or smaller, you can just hover your mouse over the, the wall between the volume and the indicator, hold the left mouse button down, and then you can zoom it in or down, however you see fit. On the ATR, I'm just looking for that number over there. So I don't need it to be very big. If you prefer bar charts, I know most of us traders use candlesticks, but there are still a few folks out there that like bar charts. So you can change it to bar chart if that is your preference to do so. We're going to have them defaulted to the daily chart, but if you wanted to go intraday or take a little bit of a longer term, maybe you want to look at the weekly chart. How does this look on the weekly? It doesn't look too shabby. How does it look on the hourly chart? How does it look on the 15-minute chart? So you can change your time frames. This little drop down right here will allow you to do that. If you hold your left mouse button down, you can do what I'm doing here, zooming it around so I can kind of zoom however I want to do so. If you hold your left mouse button down over here in the dollars, same thing, I can scrunch it up or scrunch it down. Right, or if your mouse wheel up will zoom in, mouse wheel down will zoom out. So you can kind of get this chart set up the way that you like it. Your trend line tool is this guy right here. This is where you can do your trend line. This would be a breakout, so it's kind of horizontal resistance, right? But I can also use it. I don't know how applicable it is here, but it's not terrible, I suppose, as the trend line itself. If I don't need it or I want to get rid of it, just left click it and throw it in the trash right up here, and that will get rid of it for you. This guy right here is where you can prep long or short trades. So this is a bullish breakout candidate, so I'm going to go long position here. And I'm not going to get super specific. I want to break this resistance. So we'll just say that that's close enough. That's where I want to get in. My target price, let's get this zoomed out. I'm a big zoomer when it comes to this stuff. Maybe you've got a target price in mind of 48.50 coming back up to this old pivot resistance level in that area. My stop loss, I'd like to have my stop loss below this recent swing low. Well, if that's the trade I'm trying to build, I can see that for every dollar I'm risking, I have $1.77 of profit potential. Maybe I'm not satisfied with that. A lot of swing traders and traders in general have the 2-to-1 rule, right? I've got to be, if I'm risking $1, I have to have reasonable expectations of getting 2. So maybe you say, well, what if I move my stop loss up below this little base that's kind of developing here over these last several trading days? That's going to give me a risking $1 to get $3.29. So I can actually kind of have it do the math for me, build out my trades. Maybe you think that's too aggressive of a target price and you think getting into 44 is more reasonable. Can let you know where that is. Very, very helpful. It's the long and the short. So if you're prepping a bear trade, the short one will allow you to do the exact same thing, just the other direction. This thing saves me a tremendous amount of time. I always like to share it with people because it's one of those that I think if you know it, you use it a lot. If you don't know it, you don't know it, right? And maybe you don't need it, and that's okay too. I imagine, like I said earlier, you're probably going to do the majority of your charting on your own charting platform, but at least probably the first time you go through the stock report or the ops report or whatever here at Tackle Trading, you'll be going through the video here and kind of scrolling through the list. So hopefully that can help on that side of things. There are a lot of other things you can do with this, but those are some of the big ones I always do like to point out. A really easy thing to do if you're not a watch list trader is, at the end of the day, train yourself to become one. At the end of the day, let's just come through AMCR here, right? A little breakout candidate. Do you like it? There's still some room to the upside, or maybe you didn't like it to begin with, or maybe you're already in it, right? BCE, I like BCE myself because it's at a long term. I'm going to go to the monthly chart. You kind of see at this long term breakout, right? And snap back into that old resistance. So it's, still our trend line one more time, and we're testing the old resistance as new support, that little concept, right? And so, I want this on my watch list, but for me, I like what I like, right? And I would like to see it break this high from last week as confirmation. Now, maybe you would like it to go above today's high tomorrow. Maybe you don't like it at all, right? But that's okay no matter how you're going about it. But by going through my watches, I say, hey, look, I want it to take out this resistance level. That's what I want for confirmation. Probably don't have to put in my trade here today, or maybe I already have it in right up there, right? So you can easily kind of work through and see, hey, is this ready to roll? I missed this one, or hey, great, I'm glad I watched the Sunday because I'm already here, right? Thanks, CRISPR, for if you didn't trade the breakout on Friday, had the big gap up today, that's going to be tough to trade now, right? Thanks, I guess. So just work through them, and this can be true for your own watch list too. Work through them one at a time. Know what you want, why you want it, and if it's not there, cool, no big deal. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe BCE never breaks that resistance. Maybe it's 2 weeks from now. Maybe by the time it does, it's really ugly to me, right? I don't know how that's going to play out, but by following it along day to day, just quick and easy. It took me longer to look at it and talk about it than it took me to yep, I knew that it didn't do what I wanted to do, right? And you can definitely train yourself to do the same thing. So just a little tip on watch list management while we're in here talking our watch list. Once again, kind of coming back on point, you can expect these by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through any or all of them before the market opens back up. Don't be afraid to prioritize, right? If you're primarily trading stocks, you're probably going to prioritize, the stock report, maybe the option report, because you can always trade things in the option report with stock if that's the route that you want to go. If you're primarily a Forex trader, that's probably your first stop, and that's okay, right? I always tell people you can build your own tackle trading and, incorporate what you need out of it into your routine based off of where you are and what you're trading. So don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading, but certainly a lot of good stuff to learn beyond the watch lists themselves. We'll always take opportunities to do a little bit of teaching, whether it's, strategy selection, trade management, pattern recognition. We'll always take an opportunity to do a little bit of teaching in our weekend reports as well. As we get wrapping up here, our Tackle Today email is our daily email. If you would like to get it, just click on Tackle Today and you can sign up for the daily email in here. You can also read that daily email. It will get to your inbox faster, but we will post it directly here in the Tackle Today page as well. So if you prefer to read it that way, that is certainly understandable. We are active on all of the major social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram. Of course, we do a lot of live stuff on our YouTube channel, but beyond the live stuff, we have a lot of how-to videos, a lot of walkthroughs, an entire playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials, and we're always adding more content over on our YouTube channel. So if you're a fan of YouTube, you might be. If you're watching this onboarding webinar, I don't know. I always appreciate a subscription, and the little notification thing will make sure that you are alerted to any time that we do have a new video or a new live stream going on. We have a Facebook presence. We have a group of tackle traders. They have their own tackle trading Facebook group. If you're a Facebook group or Facebook user, I would definitely encourage you to do so. I'm not a Facebook guy, so probably never will be. But I know a lot of people really like it, and I know it's another place that they connect with traders. I'm more of a Twitter guy myself. If you're a Twitter user, I certainly invite you to join us over at Tackle Trading on Twitter, where we can kind of share beyond just kind of what's going on here at Tackle Trading, interesting chart setups that we might be running into, stocks in the news, gainers, losers, upcoming earnings, stuff like that. Always fun to be able to, just another way to be able to interact with other traders. So, if you're using any of these social platforms, I certainly invite you to join us, and don't be a stranger. If you use Twitter, say hello. I'd love to see. If you use Facebook, have fun. Say hello to the team over there, but you probably will never see me on Facebook. It's not my jam. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for tonight. I hope that this gave you a better idea of what's going on at Tackle Trading, when it's happening, gave you some ideas of maybe how you can incorporate it, how you can start using it. If you're a new member of the team, I certainly welcome you. It's great to have you here with us, and I look forward to seeing you around and getting to know you. I'm sure we'll be bumping into each other quite a few times, whether it's in one of our YouTube shows. I'm on every Friday in the halftime report. Might see you on Twitter, the Clubhouse, another one of our shows. So I hope this. I don't expect this to be goodbye. If you're just checking out Tackle Trading and seeing what we're all about, I appreciate you as well, and welcome to the team. I hope to see you around as well. We do have a standing offer of a 15-day free trial where you can come in, check it out, see what we're all about, see what these the shows are bringing to the table and stuff like that. Standing offer. It's the link will be in the description of any of our YouTube videos to get you signed up for that free trial. So I certainly invite you to give it a shot, see if it's for you. But one way or another, I appreciate everybody's time who clicked on the video. Hope you're having a great Monday. It's Monday night right now. You might be watching a little later. I don't know. But hope you had a great Monday regardless. I have a great upcoming week, both in and out of the market. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Tackle Trading. I'll look forward to seeing each one of you somewhere in the not too distant future. But until then, good night, everyone.